Newtown, Connecticut was at one time considered one of the safest towns in America. With a population of about 27,000 people, it was known for its horseback riding and for being the home of the famous Hunger Games author Susan Collins. On December 14th, 2012, Adam Lanza shot his mother. Grabbing a total of 4 guns, he then drove to Sandy Hook Elementary School. This school was located in Newtown. It was a normal day there, with around 700 students attending. Adam Lanza arrived. In a matter of minutes, he shot dead 20 children and 6 adults. He then took his own life. All of Adam Lanza's guns were purchased legally. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The Second Amendment, more commonly known as the right to bear arms, is one of the most controversial amendments in the US. People still argue its meaning today. Some interpret it to say that every American citizen should be allowed to own a gun. Others argue the Second Amendment only gives our military and law enforcement that right. When our founding fathers created the Second Amendment, their main focus was to escape from the oppression that they faced under the rule of the British king. They had armed themselves and rebelled using guns. When they established the government of the United States, they wanted to make a country that would allow for its citizens to be able to rise up and rebel if they felt oppressed, not wanting to create the same trap that America had faced under Britain. However, the question arises, should this system still be in place today?
The Second Amendment to the Constitution was formulated many, many years ago. And I think that our country was in its infancy, and maybe people weren't sure of the governmental structure, so people had the right to bear arms in the event that government didn't do what it said. That being said, I don't think that it applies to 2017.
Guns have evolved, and so should our laws. Because of the Second Amendment, it has become extremely difficult to pass any gun control laws. Gun control has become a controversial subject due to the simple reason that Americans believe that it is their constitutional right to possess them. Congress is scared away from making changes in our gun laws for fear of losing support and funding from the NRA. The resulting political climate has made it so that 2 of the most important gun control laws, the Brady Bill and the federal assault weapons ban, are no longer in effect. The Second Amendment is the main thing that stands in the way of gun control. People are always using it to argue against gun control, and because of that, we need to reform it. Why should the public own military-grade weapons?
Well, first time I fired a weapon is when I went in the military, and nobody in my family had weapons, and we weren't hunters and that kind of thing. But when you fire weapons, you just see, the violence that's attached to that, and what it does. And so the only weapons that I've ever owned are ones that I needed to purchase for work. And so, I'm very, very cautious. And long before it became an issue of guns being stolen out of cars, I've never left a gun in the car unless there was a safe, a gun safe in the car and stuff. But yeah, it's, and I can remember, because I have weapons at home, putting my wife through training, who had never fired a weapon, and she was really struck with just at the range how violent of an act it is in terms of having a firearm that's lethal and the kick and all that kind of thing.
Newtown, Orlando, Las Vegas, Aurora, San Bernardino, Sutherland Springs. All of these horrible mass shootings had one thing in common. One of the weapons that was used by the attacker was an AR-15 rifle. This is an extremely popular military-grade weapon that currently 5 to 10 million Americans own. All of these people in our country own the weapon that was used to commit some of the most atrocious events in our history. Why do our civilians need such powerful guns? Having them in our streets will just create violence and death.